Good morning, everyone. I just wanted to come to you this morning to give you an update on how things went with the council, what was talked about, and uh, what all was passed, and where we stand. It's just another step to being more transparent to you, our citizen, to keep you updated on what's going on. And we'll start by letting you know that Jerry Bradley, City Councilwoman from Ward 4, resigned uh, due to family reasons, and she's moved out of state. Um, she was on the ballot to run against Ernie Link, and so with Ernie being the one that will most likely take that position, we went ahead and appointed him as council member for Ward 4 to take Jerry's place, and he'll finish out her term, give him a head start on the council, which he'll take that seat anyway, most likely. And I think Ernie will be a good addition. I think he'll help the citizens of Truman. Um, uh, he has the city at heart, so I think he'll be a good addition. So he will take her place. And that went into effect. I swore him in Tuesday, and he started Tuesday night, and that'll work good for our citizens and for the council. Next was resolution number 1261. This was basically just some mop-up work where we have to pass a resolution to allow our financial director to pay different individuals or pay different companies by EFT, which is electronic funds transfer. Um, so she don't have to write a check and put it in the mail and then wind up not getting there for 6 weeks or more because of the mail service. But anyway, that was done for Terminex so that she could pay Terminex by EFT. Next was ordinance number 737. This was the third reading on this ordinance. Um, this was to describe the job description for um, the elected position of city clerk, and also set the pay rate for that position. And that was the third reading. It was passed unanimously, and it went into effect immediately. We also discussed unfinished business, resolution 1259. This was a resolution to negotiate a contract with Medic One ambulance service. It's right now that we haven't done that yet. We're still working. Our attorney and their attorney are working together to get the contract wording just right to make it best for all of us. This will be a really good contract for us because it's going to give us two ambulances in the city of Truman at all times, unless, of course, both ambulances get a call at the same time. And then Medic One will send a third ambulance at least to Bay to be close in case we have a third call, which will happen at times. It's just the way it goes. But I believe this contract is going to be helpful for our citizens because they won't have to wait. If one ambulance is gone and that's the only ambulance they have here, if it's gone, we have to wait for an ambulance to come from Jonesboro, Lake City, Harrisburg, or wherever the next closest ambulance is. So this is going to be a plus for you and for all of us. And we're just getting the wording right. We want to make sure that everything is done correctly. Um, the next thing up was we have discussed in the past, the clerk and I, along with our city attorney, Mr. Gazaway, about our ordinances. And I've said from day one, we wanted to go through our ordinances and update them. We've got ordinances that have been on the file for, since the 30s. That's just never been updated. We've got some that have 4 or 5 different amendments to them. And so what we're going to do is take all of our old ordinances like that, and if we've got an ordinance that has 3 or 4 amendments, we're going to combine all of that into one ordinance, update it, and then once it's updated, then if you need to come in and find an ordinance, you can find that one ordinance, and that's all you'll need because it's all the rest of them will be repealed. But you can read that one ordinance and get the information that you need without having to research through 100 years worth of records. They'll all be in one place. Basically, what this is called is codifying. We're going to try to do as much of that as we can, and to make things a whole lot easier and more understandable when we do pull these ordinances out to read them. So anyway, we started that in ordinance number 739. We had the first reading on it. It's for mobile vending sites and food trucks, food truck courts, and things like that. This ordinance was approved on the first reading. We've got two more readings. Um, this will basically allow food trucks and a food truck court to be put up, which is basically where you have, two or three or four food trucks in one location, and where you can go get different varieties of food at these food courts. But there's a lot of restrictions on them. We want to make sure that they look good. The food courts themselves, if they're there, that they stay clean, that they follow codes, and to make sure that your safety is good, as plus the aesthetics of where they're set up at, where they don't look bad and make our town look junked up or trashy, which was a big thing that we're working on fixing. So that ordinance has passed the first reading. We've got two more readings. If you want to read that, you can get a copy of it here at the office, and you're more than welcome to read it. If you have any suggestions or recommendations, you're more than welcome to make those. But this is the first one that we did. The next one was ordinance number 740. It's kind of the same thing with the food truck. This is repeal ordinance 56, 64, and 698. What this would do is clarify and regulate the sale and distribution of alcoholic beverages in the city of Truman. This is I had a lot of discussion on this. It's positive that we know that we need to regulate and make sure that where we're at, we don't want a bunch of beer joints per se in Truman. We're trying to get away from that stigma that was brought here years ago from all the clubs that were up north of town. We're getting away from that and getting our reputation back, and without that in our reputation. So we don't want a lot of that. So we want to be able to regulate alcohol sales the way it should be, but we want to be fair with it. So our attorney is looking into this, the chief of police, the city council, and I. We're all going to research and put together an ordinance, which we have a pretty good ordinance. The ordinance 740 that I presented is a good ordinance. We just had a couple of questions on a little bit of the wording. So we're going to work on that and get that back in line, and we'll get that back on the agenda. And then the next things we had Truman Waterworks Audit. It turned out good. Everything's fine. We just had to present that to the council. And then I made a Chamber of Commerce proclamation that this coming week will be the Chamber of Commerce week, and we proclaim that as the week for Chamber of Commerce. Those of you that don't know, now we have a really good chamber. Bob Sal is doing a great job. He's going out reaching businesses, working, trying to get business here in town. The businesses we have here in town, he's working with them to try to help their business grow and be better. So we're proud of the work that Bob is doing. We appreciate him very much, and he's doing a great job. So that was pretty much what we had in the council meeting. Um, we did have our new grant writer. He is has hit the ground running. He's looking for monies for the city to help us improve our way of living, also to improve things throughout the city that we don't have the money for, but there's money out there for us to get. So he's trying to pull that money in, and he started out on a good note. So we'll keep you updated with that, of how that goes, and as we get grants and we apply for grants, we'll make sure you know about it. We have the metal is in for the fire station. Those of you've been by, you see it going up. That's a great thing. Now, if we get it in the dry, they can get to working on it, and the weather won't have an effect on it, and they can keep working even in bad weather. They'll be working on the inside, so that's great news. We're ready to get the fire station open, get our firemen back into a permanent home that they need and they deserve. So uh, we appreciate those of you that's been patient with us. Again, all of this was out of our control. Once we got the money and got the bids and all, it's all a matter of just waiting on the metal to get delivered, get produced and all of that. There's just a lot of stuff in there that I didn't even realize that we had to go through to make it happen. But we've got it going, and the fire station will be built before we know it. The nursing home is going up rapidly. I hope y'all have gone by and looked at it. It looks really good. Once they finish and they get all of the landscaping and all, it's going to be a premier site in the city of Truman, right there on the interstate. People drive by and see it, and it's going to look really good in the city. Shadrack's is coming. They're going to be opening hopefully before too long. They're doing the preliminary things now that they have to do, and hopefully they'll be up and running before long, and you can get you another cup of coffee from them. Um, the only other real thing that we've got is the Wild Duck Festival begins today. We look forward to seeing y'all out there. Hope you can make it. It's going to be bigger and better than ever. The carnival started last night. Drove by and looked at it, and they've really got a good setup. So I think you'll enjoy that. We look forward to having people from all around to be able to go out and enjoy the carnival and enjoy the city of Truman. These are the things that we're working on doing and bringing to you. Things like this. We look forward to having more events even next year that will bring things to town where you can enjoy that. Um, Other than that, finally, I want to remind you, um, Election Day is November the 5th. Early voting starts October the 26th from 10 to 4 p.m. and then November the 2nd from 10 to 4 p.m. here in Truman at the Community Center. And then October the 21st, you can start early voting in Harrisburg. I think it's 8:30 to 4:30 there at the annex, at the courthouse annex in Harrisburg. You can go and vote during the week there. Um, get out and vote. And there's going to be one thing that I want to mention to you again is we have issue on the ballot for our city council members going to 4-year staggered terms. I want to assure you, this has nothing to do with a power trip or anything like that. It doesn't affect me, period. So it's not that, and I'm the one that put this in. There is a reason for this, and I want you to understand this reasoning is so that we don't have 10 new council members all at one time. And the way it's set now, that is a possibility that all 10 members could be new at once. If you do that, and especially if you have a new mayor at the same time, you're going to have chaos. There's a whole lot more to being on the city council and being mayor than just going to the council meeting and sitting there and listening to what's going on. There's a lot to it, and you have to know a lot of rules. You have to know a lot of laws. And when we have 10 brand new council members and a new mayor, then all 10 of them and the mayor don't really know what's going on exactly and how it's supposed to be done. And it can be chaotic. So this is the reason for this. We want to go to staggered terms where seat 1 would go for 4 years, seat 2 would be elected 2 years later for a 4-year term, and then they would all have 4-year terms, but you could only elect 5 people for every 2 years. And so you won't lose, you would never stand the chance of losing all 10 at once, only 5. You can still vote council members out. If you don't like what they're doing, vote them out. If you don't like what the mayor's doing, vote them out. That's the whole deal with democracy. This great republic we're in gives us the opportunity to do that. So, I encourage you to get out and vote. And I encourage you strongly to vote for the staggered terms in the city of Truman. Again, this is not a power trip or anything like that. We're not trying to slide anything in. I'm telling you exactly what it's about. Is to keep us from having 10 new council members at one time, and that could possibly happen. So again, I ask you to vote for staggered terms, and then vote for your council who's on the ballot, and and the president and the others that are there. So get out and vote. And until next time, have a blessed day and a good weekend.